First of all, David, thank you very much for coming here and for your presentation.
My pleasure.
First question maybe is, what do you think about this type of event, which is surely not very typical? I don't know if you ever participate in an event like this.
Well, thank you, Bernhard, for the invitation as well. You're right, I speak at lots of conferences around the world, and I was last week in Iran, I'm next week in South Africa, but nothing quite like the Italia Risk Forum, partly because of the lovely location, partly because of the very interesting people, but I think really the speakers make it because it was so unusual to have that combination of somebody talking about neuroscience and somebody talking about making pasta and somebody talking about changing his lifestyle choices along with the more traditional approaches to risk. And I think what that does is highlights the fact that risk management is a life skill. It's not just for business, it's not just technical, it's important for raising our children, for planning our careers, for thinking about our life goals and how we achieve them. It's also, and something I've been doing recently, important outside the organisation at the level of society and the national level. So everywhere we're faced with uncertainties that matter, but you know, the risk approach, risk-based thinking, helps us to deal with them. And I think this was a very unique gathering of risk specialists.
It was in line with your message of total risk management, no?
I think so.
This is maybe having here a person international like you are, do you have some suggestion to our entrepreneurs here in Italy? What do you think could be a good suggestion to give to our companies here in Italy?
Thank you. I think clearly entrepreneurship is about taking risk, and you have to take the right risks safely. So if you take too much risk, then you crash the company, you lose everything.
Like a wine.
Yes, exactly. Not one glass too many. If you take too much risk, everything is lost. If you take not enough risk, you play it safe, then you can't be truly entrepreneurial, innovative, creative. So the question is how much risk is right. And for that we need to know three things. One is how much risk can I take? Do I want to take? Can I cope with? Risk capacity. The second is how much risk have I got? Your risk exposure. And then the third is, how much risk is appropriate for each situation, which is your risk assessment. So I think risk-based thinking for entrepreneurs is really important, but to take this idea that risk is positive as well as negative. So of course we're aware of the things that could go wrong, but we must also think about the positive things that would help us to achieve our goals, to increase value, to be more competitive, more innovative as a result of taking risk. So I would say to Italian entrepreneurs, take more risk, but make sure you're taking the right risks. And to do that with your eyes open, thinking about the risk and being intentional, and always having a focus on the goal. For me, risk-taking is like sailing a boat. Some people think it's like taking a train, that you have a rail which is the plan, and we're going to follow the plan, and we stop at the stations and we end at the goal. But for me it's like sailing a boat. You set off and the wind blows and the waves come and you're blown off course, and you have to keep changing direction but always with an eye on the goal. And I think that having a risk-based approach to understand where we're being driven off course but always seeing the goal is really important. So I think risk-based thinking is the only way to be a true entrepreneur.
Again, thank you very much for everything, and I hope we see each other next year at the Italian Risk Forum.
That will be wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ciao.